Yeah, man. When it comes to money, that they say money make the world go round, and when you talking about freedom, usually money is one of the key aspects that get brought up. You know what I mean? When people talking about security, money is going to be thrown in there. It just human is satisfaction in general. It's hard to have a conversation that money don't seems to just peek his head up in there. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, that's probably just because money is the one thing across the whole globe that everybody respects,
The
or at
only
least on the
thing on this
government
planet
aspect.
that every human being agrees upon.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we can say. Every human being agrees upon currency. God dang.
Yeah. The even exchange of goods.
Fair
And,
trade.
yep.
Yeah. Ain't there a law called the Fair Trade Use or Fair Trade Act or some shit like that?
Yep. And that's one of those copyright things.
All that good stuff. Yeah, man. But I like to welcome y'all here today and thank y'all for joining your boy again with these sit downs and discussions, man, as we try to hash out our different perspectives and come up with an approach to the problems we face as a people, individually and as a whole. God dang. Uh, Happy New Year to each and everybody who want to celebrate. You know what I mean? March 20th, we waiting on that springtime to roll in though. But happy January 1st and interesting 2022. Hopefully, god dang, hopefully it's not as crazy as last year, but interesting nonetheless.
Is Joe Biden still the president?
Whoo.
Yeah, it's probably still gonna be that crazy.
That's messed up, man. Hey,
Man,
no, me and my
man.
wife was talking about
President Biden.
stimmies. We was talking about them stimmies. I was like, yeah, you missing Trump a little bit, huh?
Mhm.
Hey, I mean, supposedly they supposed to be dropping another one this year. I heard. I mean, it's been talked through the grapevine though, but man, hopefully I'm me and my squad in a position where we make too much to get a stimulus check. God dang.
Yeah, y'all
True
blessed.
enough.
Hey, that's the real blessing that we all waiting on, man. Real talk. That's why I hope it can
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
better 22 than it's been the past 2 years, man. 2020 was crazy, you know. 2021 was out of this world too. So I'm just hoping for that shift, that little crossover right now. That's all
Right,
I'm
right,
speaking on
right.
for
Let's
this
just hope
crossover.
2022 don't want to be like his brothers and shit. You know what I mean?
You did.
Yeah. I don't know, man. China talking and Russia talking and United States ain't doing nothing to help it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna buckle up for the ride.
See, now you talking
Oh
about
man,
politics,
elaborate, man. What's
man.
been going on? I ain't been on the news.
Uh,
What?
Basically, how do you know how it is when you get a substitute teacher
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
all the bad kids come out?
yeah. Even the good kids go bad for the sub.
Yep.
Man, Joe Biden is the worst substitute teacher you
He
could
is.
ever think of, Shawty.
Like, yeah,
Everybody see that shit.
he's the substitute teacher that goes to sleep in class. And he like, did he just go to sleep? Oh, we
Right.
finna run this asylum.
Man, yeah, yeah. The substitute is in. All the good kids said fuck the homework.
Yep.
It's just not looking good, man. But then you got a lot of people who the scariest thing really is this civil war supposedly that they trying to brew. And people who are loyal to a cause based off of affiliation rather than affirmation. You know what I mean? Rather than confirming and knowing that this person believes what you believe and support what you support. We on the whole, I'm just not gonna like you because you like the other guy.
Yeah. That's pretty
And
much how it is.
that shit that's the scariest thing to me because blind anger, it's hard to quarrel a blind anger. You feel me?
Yeah, and
And
that was the funny thing about this situation. when even when you talk about the quote unquote civil war that may happen, that's probably it's actually already happening. It's a cold war right now. But it was funny when you actually looked at the votes and how people were voting. They didn't even vote for their stomachs. That was the funny thing. Like usually people vote for their stomachs. Like who's going to be able to fatten my pockets? I'm like, oh, okay, nobody cares about that anymore. Nobody cares about money. And that's probably why during this whole pandemic, it was the biggest transfer of wealth from the middle, lower class to the upper echelons, because I think their wealth grew up to like over $300 billion.
Nancy Pelosi made $16 million from 2020 to last year on the stock market.
So, I mean, and like, because your topic is currency, but do people even care about currency anymore? Like, do people actually care about making money?
I mean,
it don't seem like it
is, I guess. I mean, because money is secondary to survival.
Okay, elaborate.
When a person feel like that they're doing something to protect themselves, they don't give a fuck about the money, and they got to protect themselves from everybody who vote for Trump or vote. You know what I mean? Like, bro, that shit's so crazy, man.
So it'll be easier for the wealthy people to actually take more money, since they're pretty much driving the whole population, not even just the United States population, but the world population, into just a fear mode. And nobody cares. No, everybody just wants to survive instead of actually, being prosperous, or at least making a little bit of money.
But that would also take understanding of what's going on. You know what I mean? You got a lot of people who don't understand how law works and politics, so they're gonna operate off of emotional pretense, let alone understanding how just currency in itself connects to our politicians and our leaders, and how their actions affect our supply, demand, and all of that shit, bro. Like sanctions that they put on big companies and stuff like that. People don't recognize the connections between these two actions. Who you put in office and what laws they gonna place over businesses highly affects how well your country gonna do.
Yep, because especially with this country was founded on the small business principles. Like, we were pretty much nothing but, majority of the companies were small businesses in America before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, you couldn't go to a mom and pop store anymore. You had to go to Walmart. So, and those politicians are getting paid by the people at Walmart, along with big tech like Google and YouTube and Facebook, all that. And they're pretty much married, and which is a terrible thing. And the only thing I could tell everybody who's listening is the best thing anybody can do for voting is go vote in the primaries. Like, we gotta get these bureaucrats out of office, because they're not doing anything but harming the people.
Okay, do you believe in the whole big lie?
I don't believe in no big lie.
That's what they label it now. Not to say that's what it is.
What's the big lie?
One?
The 2020 election.
Do I believe that it was tampered with?
In a sense, Ms. Magic.
Yeah, I do. They have enough evidence to show that, but yeah, that's my perspective.
What about you, Ms. Magic?
Well, with what you said, Glass, I want to tie that into what TJ was saying, as far as like Walmart, Google, YouTube, and all of that. I feel like that was a big example of what's to come for the future. And as much as we vote, I feel like they really capitalizing on how to like use our cell phone interaction as our deciding factor, and using that more than even votes to drive whatever culture forward that they want to push, which is even more dangerous. You get me? Because like you said, TJ, they all in bed together. They even in bed with the politicians, the big business corporations, and now the internet corporations are worth way more than even the big business corporations of the past. Like internet sales
They're
surpassed
worth more
Walmart.
they're worth more than all the empires from the past. I'm talking about the Roman
Yeah,
Empire. They're richer than all of them in the past. So yeah,
ever in human history. Yeah,
yeah.
like you get, so it's like with those type of forces pulling the strings, you get me? It's like you don't have no choice but to believe in the big lie or either the opposite of the big lie. And you gonna carry out those actions based on what you believe in, whether you focused on politics or not. Because a lot of people who carry out them actions, they probably voted in this election and the last one, but they not lifelong voters. You feel me? They influence
Yeah.
based off of whatever movement they've been following online, whatever rabbit hole they've been going down online. And I feel like at some point I feel like that's where the government lacking on for real is like holding certain entities more accountable, and then humans don't even want to see the right things either. We indulge in whatever our opinion is to the point where we have enough support and facts to back up whatever that opinion is, whether it's true or not, and
And
turn off any other comment in the contrary. So it's a scary time right now because of where everybody focuses at.
you pretty much just said that, yeah, like I believe that the election was tampered with, because what you just said, you pretty much were saying that they that they're controlling the culture and the narrative, the big
Yeah,
corporations, big
he-
elite politicians.
right,
And the only reason why they had to get Trump out of there, because he was a freaking bull in the China shop going against the entire agenda. It was just like,
right.
oh
But that's why
yeah, we got to get rid of him.
I can't necessarily say I believe in the big lie as far as the election is concerned. You get me? But I get why you say that, but that's not, so no, that's not what I'm saying. I don't necessarily believe in the big lie. You get me? But I do believe that opinions are being swayed every day and people are overindulgent in their own opinions and coming up with a whole lot of stuff that could be dangerous. That's what I think.
Okay.
Okay, I get you. I get you. My thing is, when it comes to the whole big lie or whatever, it's not so much about whether or not if you believe one side or another. My thing is the loyalty aspect, that people are just riding with one side or the other because of affiliation. You feel me? Like, no matter what side you choose, people gonna peg you as the opposite side. Either you with us or you against us. And I got my whole life have always been a Democrat. Consider myself a Democrat until I say 2012. That's when I really just were like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm not politically affiliated with any side. You feel me?
Yeah.
But given the past 2 years, I've been labeled as a Republican, and people automatically assume that I supported Donald Trump for me just asking for verification on their behalf, or just me not accepting what they believed. I was
Yeah.
automatically a Trump supporter.
Yeah. Like you don't. And I think I said I had an episode and I was telling people on my show, TJ Evans show on Royal Family Studios YouTube. Go look it out. Go check it out. And but I was telling people, it's like this is the time right now where you have to pick a side, because if you don't pick a side, they're gonna pick one for you. So
Back, and I was telling that to a colleague of mine, where somebody I be having debates with, and they're on the opposite end of the spectrum with most of the things that I agree with. They usually disagree, but they realizing that even in some instances, in some instances where we agree, they are being labeled as a Trump supporter.
mm-hmm.
You feel me? And this person, they voted for Biden outright. You feel me?
Yeah. But there's usually a progression in people's political political parties as they grow. Usually, the younger generations, when you're at a younger age, you're usually going to rock with the Democrats because of what they show on the outside. Like they care about the people, they want to help everybody, yada yada yada. But as you get older, you start thinking more libertarian, or you start thinking more conservative, and then you just like, you know what? There's a reason why, because once you get older, you start owning more stuff and you start checking your check stubs and stuff like that. And you're like, brother, I'm getting a lot of taxes taken out. And once you start saying that, you're like, maybe I'm just a little conservative just because my money. Because Democrats are all about big government. But big government sucks because government doesn't know how to do anything right. Because we've all been to the DMV and the post office. They're not good at stuff. So honestly, when you mature, the more and more you mature, your thought process is going to lean. I won't say Republican, but it's going to lean more conservative. And people just say
I
that
wouldn't necessarily say that, because like I know a couple of folks on my goddamn timeline who are like quite well off. You know what I mean? Like, and they are heavily Democratic, like to the point where they are with some of the they basically, he don't mind the government regulating ways that makes it harder for people to make money the same way he made money. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, that's just those people that know the way, and then as soon as they get to the destination, they try to erase the map, and that's just a terrible person.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks end up going Democrat that way so they can lobby and get laws and things passed to make it harder to do business. Shush.
What'd you say, Shay?
But like you said, TJ, once you own more, acquire like more assets or more money, or like raise your tax bracket, you start to look at things differently. Or if you are a owner, and that's like, aside from race, that's like really where it starts to distinguish itself. Like once you start owning things, owning businesses and properties and all those types of things, you start to look at things in a different way and start to see the benefits of what people are talking about in a different light, and you take race out of it because it's not necessarily a race conversation. But where the Democratic Party was able to benefit is by pushing race to the forefront of the agenda and making everything a civil rights issue, clouding everything. You know what I'm saying? And when you have those type of principles that like you are against, TJ, those types of principles are for people who are not owners. You get me?
Yeah.
It's like, to say it in the nicest way possible. You get me? So it's like you start to look at life different once you experience more life on a more than just a basic level than the life that they set out for you to want. You get me?
True enough, because if they didn't put race in the forefront, what else would they run on? What are their policies?
Right.
What are they doing to help the people? Because from what I see, is nothing but raising your taxes. And if nobody understands that, like if nobody, but they do that because black people, we're so emotional. We're an emotional people.
Right.
We run off our emotions, and we need to put that to the side. And they know we're emotional.
And shoot, not a lot of people at a certain income level, and that's exactly how they would love for it to be in order for, you know what I'm saying, their situation to move smoothly. So that's why people really got to become more aware, whether you're an owner or not. Like, business conversations are important, ownership conversations are important, whether those are your aspirations or not, because that could trigger something inside you to say, maybe I should look at stuff a little differently. That's what they really don't want, though. That's why, like, that's the good thing about 2020, 2021. People were able to see that they didn't need these corporations, bro. They didn't need these folks' jobs, none of that. Like, people were able to see that, and that caused a disruption too. So just like a lot of the richer got richer, it was a lot of millionaires made out of poverty during this time too.
Oh yeah, especially with that whole GameStop move that the leaders had to shut down
No, for
in
real.
the
No,
stock
for real.
market.
That
Yeah,
was
they did.
crazy.
They was like, "Bruh, no, y'all can't be as rich as us. Then how are we gonna distinguish each other?"
Exactly. No, for real, man. For real. Like folks came up. Like folks was able to come up. Thank God. Like real talk. Thank God folks was able to come up. You get me? Cause
But it
it was
is,
just a crazy time to experience. But
but
it's like that on both sides. People have to want that, but more people are wanting it, and that gives it hope. But what does that where does that leave the government, or where does that even leave politics? Because I don't know, with the internet going on, I don't even know what the future of politics even look like.
it on the internet, and honestly, especially with these large corporations, these big tech corporations who actually run these sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these stuff,
Right.
they're able to silence certain parties so you won't get to hear the other side of the story. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
longer a dialogue on anything anymore. Like people can't even talk about COVID. While COVID is going on, we can't have a conversation about COVID, especially when we found out a lot of stuff that y'all told us was a lie is now the truth, is it's actually the truth. So it, if they can control the narrative, they can move people how they want to. Like because the media is doing nothing but controlling the minds of the people. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been used for.
Programming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
television program. It's a
That's
television
what I'm afraid of.
program.
That's what I'm facts.
But I mean, we just have to speak to as many people as possible, like individually, because honestly, like you can't talk to a crowd of people about this stuff because too many people gonna be yelling. But if as long as we continue like the one-on-one conversations and continue doing stuff like this, then we're doing a good job. At least the conversation is being had. Because that's the one thing
Yeah.
they
Definitely agree with
want to
that.
stop is the
Peace
speech.
of mind.
They want to silence speech. If they silence speech, then we're lost. The last thing that I have is my words. I have nothing else. Anytime somebody talk to me, I'll be like, bro, I only have words. That's the only thing I got is words. If you take my words away, then I'm lost. I can't think. If I'm not able to think, if I'm not able to offend somebody, if I'm not able to make people feel awkward, then nobody will grow. And that's the kind of the catch 22 about when they send out the stimulus packages. Like, yeah, it was a good thing because it helped keep the economy going, all this, but yet at the same time, it made a lot of people dependent on the government. And he who funds you runs you. So if all these people who
Facts.
don't want to work, these people don't want to work because they expected more money, more free money. But yet nothing is free. And these stimulus
Mm-hmm.
check, if we're not gonna deal with the fallout of this, our grandkids will. And that's one thing we don't think about as a people. We have to prepare for the future. We're doing stuff for the future. I don't like, let's say if I didn't make $1 million until I was 70 years old, I'd be happy because my kids and grandkids will be able to spend that. But we don't think like that as a people. Instead, like during the Christmas time, we have so many people shopping. We spend more money at Christmas than any other group of people. We spend more money than any other group of people, period. But if black people, let's say, who didn't want to own a business or didn't want to be like knowledgeable of the stock market or investing, take that money that you're gonna spend on your kids, at least half of it, and invest in them in like a CD or something. Give them a stock portfolio. So if you don't want to do it, your kids may.
Right.
If you knew better, you do better.
Yep. And there's no reason for nobody to know better, not to know better, because the internet. Literally, we have more technology in our phones
Yeah, man.
than the people who went to the moon.
I mean, this is where I had a little conversation with somebody about this. is where will come in, bro. Like, okay, everybody ain't got the same level of willpower, so everybody ain't gonna try to, you know what I mean, try to reach the same heights. When you
Is
got
that
who are complacent, being able to just get to a certain point, then I mean, those who seek more are inevitably gonna stand above them. You know what I mean? That's just the way the world works.
is it an inherited trait, or is it something that we've been given so many things, so many inanimate objects to distract us from wanting more? Because think about it, back in the day when people actually worked to get out the hood, it was because they didn't have nothing. I want to get to another place, but now you go to the hood and everybody got the same TVs you got. Everybody got the PlayStation. Everybody dressed fly. Got 3, 4 cars. Is it because we've only seen they only even the playing field for possessions, and they never actually tried to grow people's mind to want more? Because honestly, if people are just satisfied with what the government gives them, because people are, then no, they're not gonna want more. If I'm able to eat 3 square meals a day, I can watch all my shows, I can pay all my bills. Why do I need to get a bigger house? Why do I need to buy land? I got all the stuff that apparently everybody else got.
Now,
Right,
how do
right.
you encourage a leadership mindset among the masses?
Leaders,
Well, I mean, that's not ideal
true,
anyway, because like you said, everybody's not gonna have it. You feel me? And then
Right.
that's not even ideal. But what we can work on is raising like the what you call it, the character level of our society, and like getting out of that complacent mentality. Because y'all right, we just got a complacent mentality. Because along with the internet, you can look into these famous people homes that you love and desire. Oh yeah, I want that. I can get that. Now I can post up with that. I ain't gotta look. I just found a little fake version on Wish. You feel me? But it looked the same on my page or whatever the case may
yeah.
be. You feel me? So
I
Yeah.
can
people
I
is
can go
only
rent that
looking
car or
forward
something.
to that instant.
Say that again.
Yeah, cut out Shay.
What you say?
You had cut off.
Oh no, I was saying that people just want that instant, whatever comes instant. That's all people is looking forward to. So it's not about none of that. And every like you said, Glass, everybody not gonna have the same ambitions. And really that's really not how it's supposed to be. Hopefully they can be triggered to be more ambitious or want to get into the game or have a little spark of creativity or competitiveness or whatever. We want that for all of our people. But for the
Yeah.
people who are ready and willing right now, those are the leaders. As misguided as they may be, you get me? So it's like we gotta pump the information that's accurate. Is be on the search for accurate information because right now we the leaders. You get me? Like
Right.
because we at least kind of enough to know that what's going on is crazy as hell. You get me? Like whether we know
But
anything much more than that.
and the leadership mentality, that's something that has to be procured. Like you got, and that's something that you do from a young age. Like you got, like when these white people pick their politicians, they pick their politicians when they were kids. Like they groomed these people. If we can actually get a community, if we can actually come together as a community and actually groom our young men and women to want more, then we wouldn't have to worry about the next generation. Because our generation, we're pretty much screwed. Like honestly, like a lot of people are set in stone with how they think. You can bring as much truth as you want to, but they're not gonna listen to it. So right now, we just have to make sure our young ones, at least the ones that we bring up, have that mentality. They want more because the what is it, Generation Z? Generation Z actually is a more conservative generation. Like they actually do want more. But you just got to keep planting them seeds in them, because our generation, we're distracted by our phones. We're distracted looking down all day, every day. That's why probably we're all going to develop hunchbacks.
Man, for real.
But you have to, because you leadership is taught, and it's kind of hard to teach grown folks. Gosh, it can't teach an old dog new tricks. Them folks told you. Them old folks knew stuff. Yeah, and honestly, even with the conversation that we're having, only a select few people can actually are able to hear. Because it even tells you in the Bible, in the last days, that people's ears will be wax coarse. Like, they're not gonna be able to hear you because they can't.
Oh, see, now you open up a whole new can of worms. Everybody ain't gonna believe scriptures, man.
I mean, it's not even. I wasn't even just using that but you have to reference the Bible. I'm sorry. It, like, nothing's new under the sun, and we all know this. But guess where it comes from? The Bible. So, we use it in our everyday lives, and we don't even know it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. You know what I mean? But it just when you trying to show people got things certain ways, man, belief is going to keep a lot of information from being absorbed. You know what I mean? Being able to.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand, but I just use that. You know how, like, people like to use old Chinese proverbs. I don't know any Chinese proverbs, so I just gotta go to the Bible.
Facts.
But people can't hear. You can actually see that with your day-to-day life. Like, I know, Glass, I know for a fact that you've literally showed people actual videos and articles. Like, they said it. They actually said it. I'm not saying it. I'm saying what they said. And they was like, no, I still don't believe it. And it's like, bro, but how? I showed you what his face hole said. He said it at his face.
I mean, yeah, that's when you got a cognitive dissonance and people not want to accept the reality of what it is, and
pride.
Like, niggas will admit that you right, and what you showing them has all the you know what I mean, credibility in the world, but just something will not let them, you know what I mean, let go of what they believe in.
It's pretty much boils down to pride, because you got to think about it. Nobody wants to admit they're wrong.
I mean,
if you
that's the whole human nature, though. You know what I mean? And I'm not perfect, but you just can't tell me I'm not perfect.
But yeah. Yeah.
Everybody quick to admit, oh, I know I'm not perfect, but it's a problem when somebody points out your imperfections.
And also, like, bro, it's kind of hard to tell people that they're wrong and they live their whole life with this belief, and then you just shatter their whole belief system, man. They can't cope with that. But that's the thing. That's one of the reasons that they're trying to cut off conversations and try to stifle speech, because they don't want people to think, and they don't believe that people are mentally capable and emotionally sound enough to not just want to kill themselves just because they heard something that was right but against what they believe. At the end of the day, people can't have this air of victimization in their minds. Like, everybody can't be victims. God dang, this is a generation of victims.
I mean, yeah.
Like, everybody is victims, and the only reason is because that certain people on the news and certain people on television, certain entertainers and certain politicians keep telling them how much of a victim they really are. But it's like, you're not. You're doing way better than those black people in the 17th, 18th, and early in the 19th century, in the early 20th century. You're doing way better than them. Like, broke people have cars. Everybody has a TV in every room of their house, but we're all victims. Makes no sense to me.
I mean, because commodities is not reflective of you know what I mean, a person's mental state. Like,
Oh, it kind of is.
not necessarily, bro. Because I mean, now you're attributing physical possession to bondage. Just because a slave has a car don't mean he's a slave.
No, I'm saying that we're able to do more things and move more freely. But even when it comes down to commodities, I can attribute that to a person's psychological state, because if you continuously buy more and more things, you're trying to fill a void.
I mean, a lot of folks don't know what that void is. A lot of folks don't know that they are in a position of servitude. A lot of folks don't know they're in a position of servitude and they feel something, but they don't know what it is. And just I like, okay, because I believe African Americans here are in the land of our captivity. You know what I mean? Like, and us being able to buy cars and get $1 million houses don't change that fact. Because no matter how good the black person does here in America, the white man is always going to be doing better.
Well, now that goes on to, now you're in the realm of covetousness. You can't covet that neighbor's things.
Oh, hold on now. Cause now that's a whole nother argument now, because you saying something in regards to the Bible now. So
My
if we
bad.
talking,
My bad. That's me. My bad. I'm gonna go back.
I'm just saying, if we talking from our perspective, you know what I mean? Because you know that has a whole nother argument to it. Like,
let's say if I had $10 million, right?
Right.
I would be pretty satisfied. Like, I probably wouldn't do nothing anymore. Like, I'd be chilling. I just do stuff. I just be investing stuff. But I would not care how much money Elon Musk got.
Right.
It had nothing to do with me. So I feel if you're able to do those things, then you're in a pretty good place. Now, if greed kicks in, then that's between you and greed. We're still in a way better situation than what we were in the past.
I mean, that don't take away the fact that you still in the servitude, though. I'm not disputing that position is better, but servitude nonetheless is still servitude, and being a comfortable slave should be okay.
Hey, you just said he gonna be in servitude with $10 million?
Yeah, you could be in servitude with $10 million. How many rich artists say they feel like slaves to their contracts?
A lot of them artists ain't rich. Let's not even. I
ain't say nothing. I ain't say
the one that's not.
I said, with how many of the rich artists have you heard?
Oh, a lot of them do have complaints, and it's a lot of the time because
they are servitude to their contracts, regardless of their financial status. They are still servants. That's why Prince even had to get rid of his name so he would no longer be a slave. He said it himself. That was not my word. Those are Prince's.
That's true. That's because he deserved his name.
They have 10 million liquid, and that's where they.
You said what now?
From. None of these folks, they present us the illusion that they have a lot of money, and you already know the fight artists go through. So yeah, they look like they have a lot of money and they got a lot of cars that they leasing or whatever. But when they go to their account and they see that they don't got 10 million liquid, that's a whole nother conversation. And that's the point when they feel like they're a slave to their contract. But if they had $10 million liquid money that they could just touch at any time, they wouldn't feel like they were in a position of servitude. A lot of these artists, big name artists, is like crying about like $2 million, like not $10 million. They don't even have $2 million, and you would think that they had $100 million as well.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
and
So
then
no, I don't think that they 10 millionaires in a position of servitude.
and then if I
But
was
if you got money, I feel like what I'm saying is if you got money and you doing well in life, like what it matter what the white man is doing, I feel like is what he was saying.
and yes, and then also at the end of the day, we're all gonna be servants to something. We're all servants at the end of the day.
True that. And all I'm saying is, black people in this country are forever servants to white people. And that position don't change as a whole. I'm not
Well,
talking about
that
on an individual basis.
okay.
On as a whole, white people are above black people.
All right. Well, let's take what you just said, man. All right. So let's say they're only I would say they're only servants in that position because they elected to be in that position. And let me explain that a little bit more. Let's take an example of Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a billionaire, right?
Right.
We know he's a business owner, has over a dozen businesses and all this good stuff.
Right.
There's if you look at the research and all that stuff, he's still answering to a white dude.
Facts.
Now, could you say, all right, let's use Jay-Z that way. All right, he's a billionaire, all that good stuff. Master P, on the other hand, fully independent. He's always been that way. Has a little less money than Jay-Z, but he doesn't have to answer the money. Would you say that he's in a position of servitude?
Exactly.
Because I couldn't say that Master P is in a position of servitude because he's not answering anybody. Jay-Z has to answer somebody.
I completely disagree with you. Master P is in a position of servitude. If any of them black men were free, they would be able to build their own wealth and out without the interference of the next man, regardless of his color or complexion. Master P can't go create his own bank. Master P can't do what a free man can do, regardless of how much money he got in his bank.
Is that because of individuals in charge of the banking system, or is that because
White people not finna let their black man create a financial wealth for an entire nation inside a country? It's just not finna happen. That's like me letting you come inside my house and getting in my master bedroom. I don't care how much rent you pay, my nigga. You could pay my entire mortgage. You are not coming in my master bedroom, bruh.
I see what you're
It's
saying.
just not happening.
I see what you're saying. So it would be the only way that we wouldn't be in a position of servitude if we would be able to what
Run
exactly?
our own shit without the interference of people deem themselves superior. The moment a black man step up and start his own anything, and white folks come in and say no, tell me where's the servitude not at?
If you had to answer somebody, yes, you're in a position of servitude.
What black man in this country don't have to answer to white folks? Show me one.
I don't know. Did they are the I haven't seen one, but are they in a
I've never
position?
either, bro. I've
Are
never
they in
seen.
a position to be able to do that though? Because
Hey,
let's think
bro.
about it.
Hey,
Like,
Glass. I feel like you about to take us to Africa, dog. I feel like you about to take us to
Nah. I mean, I'm. It's not even about me taking to Africa. It's about whether or not can we do the things that we would like to do here.
no, not if. Actually, yes, we are. But the only problem is that there are too many people that are trying to be a part of their system.
I definitely agree with you on that.
That's the only issue. Like if black people, if let's say if Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Rihanna, Kanye West, let's say they sat down and said, "Yo, we want to start our own record label. We want to start our own entertainment company. We want to start our own television channel or media company in our own social network." I think we would be able to do that. But the thing is, so many people in these industries, they're trying to be a part of their system.
Fact. I mean, you even have those who do step out. You know what I mean? I don't know how true this is, but everybody remember when Dame Dash and Jay-Z was beefing,
Yeah.
and Dame Dash supposedly got with Jay Prince, Suge Knight,
Good night. Got it. Yeah, yeah.
made their own shit, and supposedly the word is Jay-Z snitched on them to the higher ups, and they got everybody got raided and all
Yeah.
kinds of other
Yeah.
financial and political bullshit happened.
There's always a Judas.
So now, if all right, let's just go with the notion that is true. These are 4 black men trying to develop their own thing for black people in the midst of white America,
Yeah.
and look what happened. Okay,
Yeah.
what
You
we
say
do
Black
know
Wall Street.
for a fact is true and successful is the Black Panthers organization, which was a development for black people by black people. The white people came in and shut it down.
Because they was able to have a Judas.
I mean, it's not even the fact that they had a Judas, it's the fact that there are people who are coming in and saying no.
But so then that goes onto the line of our obstacle would be fear.
I mean,
Because and especially in this generation is not willing to sacrifice themselves for the next generation.
Facts. Or just for that actual recognition of I am in servitude. Like a lot of folk don't want to accept that fact. Like a lot of folk don't want to admit that we are not free.
No, a lot of people have admitted it. Like literally, most of the country admitted it. That's why they keep looking down at their phones. They're comfortable.
I mean,
with
that's
being in that
avoiding it.
position.
That's really got complacency.
Yeah, like so if you do that, yeah, that's pretty much you're admitting to it. You just don't want to say it, but you're admitting to it. And the only reason why you don't want to do more is because you're scared that you're gonna get your tater split.
Yeah, that too. Where you at, Miss Magic? What you think? Shay.
Yo.
You done forgot all about us.
No, I ain't forget about y'all, man. I'm following along as best I can, man. I'm having some technical issues on my side. It's cutting in and out. So I'm just following along as best I can with you guys. But I am right along with you.
But
now,
cool.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get where you're coming from. It's just I don't know what the next step to that is, because that's like that's a crazy way to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it is a position of servitude, and I have heard of like $1 million slaves, or you get me, all of the stuff that you're talking about. It's not foreign. It's not a foreign concept that you're saying to me. At the same time, it's like, okay, so what do we do as a people to eliminate that? And then it gets to, well, not a damn thing, because they control everything. You feel me? So it's like, okay, so what's
the next
people gonna
thing
do?
then?
You get me? Like what people gonna do?
What do you think all our choices are? Let's start there. What are our choices?
Your choices would be stay in the position that you're at and try to live a comfortable life until you go off to pasture, or you could fight. You could fight and be willing to know that your fight isn't for yourself, but it's for the people after you. Because because black people got this thing misconstrued that we think that we're already free, but the fight still goes on. And Right now, we're in the generation of people that are not willing to fight. They'll fight about police brutality for a minute. They'll do riots and burn stuff down, and then go back to what they're doing. But that doesn't do anything. That doesn't progress us as a people.
Okay, give me one
And
second. I'm still with y'all. Y'all go ahead. Give me a second though.
and if we had that same mentality as the people who were actually enslaved, we'll be all right. Because the people who were enslaved, they weren't trying to free themselves for themselves. They said, "Yo, my kids are going to be born free. My grandkids will be born free. I know that I might not make it, but I'll pass my baby off to this random person, and I pray to God that hopefully everything works out." And we're here right now. We're the products of free slaves, and so apparently it works out. If we actually had that same notion,
Not only liberty or
exactly, exactly.
they
Give
was
me
they was
liberty
giving
or give me death.
those type of standard.
Because at the end of the day, like, what what are
I
we
mean, they
fighting
were
for?
realize how that would mess up the money. You get me? Like that'll mess up the whole plan if motherfuckers just popping up dead. You get me? Like they were
Yeah,
smart enough to use whatever they had to leverage even economics within their little battle, man. If you really think about it, so they was really on something for real.
because they knew that if I can't do it, my kids can do it. It's a passing the torch thing that we're not even willing to do. Like, even if you think about the mind frame
Mhm.
of adults that we deal with, if you think about the mind frame of adults that we deal with, the I have friends who aren't willing to grow up. I have friends who say they don't want to get married. I have friends who say they
Right.
just don't want to have kids or anything like that because they want to live their lives free. Like, oh, I don't have no responsibilities, but that's not grown. Grown is responsibilities. That's part of being grown. And your responsibilities isn't
Right.
just to yourself; it's to your household, your family, your friends, and to your community.
If we're not selfish,
And we as a people are not only emotional, but
Agent
we're
selfish.
selfish. We're hella selfish.
I
And that's
mean,
what tears us down.
and that right there is something that's being used against us too.
Yeah, everybody's on this whole self-preservation thing.
I blame the music for that one.
Heck yeah, pride is shown nothing but in music videos. Everything that I hear about in rap is how richer they are than me, and it's like, why would I buy your music? Like I hate you. You suck. Like, it doesn't
No
make sense.
facts. I hate you. I'm weak.
Yeah, bro.
I'm so weak. Nah, but you gotta look at times too, and I know y'all hate that excuse, but like I was talking to my granddad and listening to how he grew up or whatever, and of course like he's an older gentleman, and like he grew up on a farm. You get what I'm saying? So that
Real
mean that they
man.
was on some land. So that just led me to thinking, okay, so who had land? Not only is you finna have land, but you need hands to help you work that land. So you finna have
Mhm.
hella kids. My granddad had eight, or I think he said 10 of them. You feel me? And then he turned around and he had 8 or 9 kids. Just that was how he grew up. Not only that, he had his own business. He had that mindset that yeah, we finna have this, and I got some hands to work it. But the times is different now. The times is different now, bro. And people, and with that, people morals is different now, bro. People don't give a fuck about the same stuff they used to give a fuck about, like music or not, like whatever's going on in society that makes stuff different. Like my granddad said, they moved closer to the city of Atlanta because his dad stopped farming. right? So okay, he stopped farming. I ain't asking him no questions, but I'm like, okay, did he sell the farm? Like, what happened? You get what I'm saying? But that
Yeah.
industrial revolution, that where people just start working for companies and no longer working for themselves and like contributing to society in that form instead of just building their own society within and with their family, that shit was destructive, bro.
Yeah, it was. And one of the things they
Like,
used
okay,
to
don't even exist no more in the lot.
and I know one of the things that led to that was they gave us shiny objects. They gave us all these shiny things, and we was like, you know what? We don't need to.
And folks got attracted to the city like the moth to the flame, man.
Yeah.
The bright lights collar motherfuckers.
And at the same time, while we were selling land, these folks were buying up land. And they're still buying land. Land is probably the most important commodity somebody can have.
Mm-hmm. Instead of taking the little farms and lands and turning them into big cities, we left the farmlands to go to the big city.
Yep. And if we had people who just said, you know what, like I be because I come from a big family. I be trying to convince my siblings to let's just buy like 20, 30 acres. Like, let's just do it. Why not? We have a place where everybody can go to. If somebody, God forbid, got evicted, they all right because we here. The family unit was destroyed, and that was probably another thing too, because the family unit was destroyed, and we had no more teachers because they kept locking up the teachers and kicking them out the house. But if we just came together as a
but
people,
like y'all said, they fed folks these big city living ideas. People sold up all their land. You get me? Like, I was just thinking about the area of which my grandfather was telling me about where they had their farm. Like, just imagine if they still had that area of land even up to this day. And I'm thinking about what that area is now. You get what I'm saying? It's like people bought into these dreams that they were sold, and it's not even music that's to blame. It's like the propaganda and the dreams that be sold by society and be like sold by these figureheads and talking heads, and now by social media and whatever people choose to immerse themselves in. You get me? So it's crazy as hell. Like, no, people do not have the same values. Whether they get them back, I doubt it at this point.
But I will say music is a big contributing factor, especially with this generation. I can never kick music. I can never kick music out the conversation because music is what drives people. Because think about even the old school wars. Who led off in the war?
Yeah, even during the war, they used to fly over and play music.
They had the drummer was out front. The drummers was out front getting the troops rallied up. Music gets in your body, and I would say, like, all forms of art. Music is a form of art, and art is supposed to be an imitation of life. But now in this generation, life. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, right now in this generation, life is imitating the art. It's been a complete 180 flip.
Did y'all hear about
Yeah, but that's not just music though. That's all media.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all hear about that radio broadcast
even
that
back when
happened
they were books, like they had select books, salacious articles, like, you know what I'm saying, when with the emergence of television, but it was always ideas that was promoted within the media that started destructing family values.
Oh yeah, we can
all forms though. You get me? Like,
yeah,
music.
we have a full conversation on that. Black exploitation films. We can talk about the advertisement and for smoking. We can talk about the music. Yeah, like that's a whole nother conversation. I ain't gonna lie, because I can get in my bag on that.
Did y'all hear about it
I
was
mean,
this radio?
you gotta think about it. The same companies, when you cut on the movie and you see that world, that little globe, Universal on there. You get me? They put out music too. When Sony make a movie, they put out music too. You get what I'm saying? Like all these companies, they got subsections for music, and they the biggest music distributors, conglomerates. Them the same people, Universal, all of them. That's the same people that Jay Prince and all of them was forming up against. Even at that time, you get me? Like, so these media machines are attacking on all levels.
Oh yeah, facts. That's why I was saying, have y'all seen or heard about the radio broadcast that happened in like the 1930s, and it was like a host of a alien invasion, and the people who were in the city that it was broadcast actually believed it, and it was like widespread pandemonium.
I saw that clip. Yeah.
But it was like in 1938.
No, I ain't see it. What happened?
Matter of fact, let me hold on.
People acted how people would act. Like yeah, man. Like people just act like how people would act, man. Like fear is a major thing.
But look, it was like it was in 2018, but it was actor Orson Welles announces to the audience in a chilling radio performance that Martians were invading New Jersey, leading terrified listeners to believe the Earth was under attack by hostile aliens.
Yep, sound about right. Yep.
And when they seen the response to this broadcast and how people took automatically that it was real, shouted they learned a lot from this shit, man. They been playing with folks' emotions and testing and trying things on folks for years, and they got this shit like perfected to a T when it comes to goddamn manipulating niggas goddamn senses and knowing how to goddamn get folks riled up and stuff like that. And media, like, see, you really hit that nail on the head with the word propaganda, Shay, because they gonna use all kinds of outlets, music, movies, TV, news, you know what I mean, writings. They gonna do any and everything they can to kind of slow feed you with a certain idea, because if you got hear something in the jingle and then you see it somewhere else completely outside of thought, you know what I mean, it's gonna subconsciously connect with you, but you might end up thinking that the idea was yours on your own, not knowing that they feeding you this idea slowly. You seeing it in one spot, hearing it in another
subliminal messaging, bro. Subliminal messages. Same thing they did in the movie theaters back in the G when they used to put the popcorn. They used to put the popcorn thing in the movie in the movie trailers at the beginning of it, the previews.
Facts.
And that's what made niggas actually get up and go buy popcorn. They've been playing with this stuff, just like now they perfected it to the point where y'all done been on Google or y'all done thought about something on Google and y'all go to Facebook and it pops up right there on Facebook.
Facts.
Like you didn't even matter of fact, I remember
they didn't even put on the TV. That shit sync with the TV whenever I go buy something from the grocery store. I be pointing it out to my wife, like, how they know we just bought that? Like, you get me? Like, how they know? And she told me the other day, she said they know because you put your shopper's card.
They know because they can predict what your movements are.
They showing me commercials on my TV. You get me?
They've been able to
with your phone. They gonna know too. Shit.
They've been able to perfect algorithms. Think about it. On YouTube is the biggest test for people. How many times have you been on YouTube and you don't even have to search for nothing? You just see videos that you'll just click on because just like, oh, I'm interested in that. It's as part of it. They program folks. They already program folks. They can predict the things that's going to happen in your life by your lifestyle. That's why even when you're on a new app or something, they ask you about what you do and where do you shop and all this stuff, because they're trying to know you. They're trying to be as intimate with you as possible.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to maximize on that ad revenue.
Exactly.
Sure.
That's, think about how many times have we downloaded an app and it was free? How many times we've been on the computer and it's free? We're on the internet. The internet is free for people, just be on Facebook and Twitter, all this stuff. But the reason why it's free is because you're actually the currency. They're trading you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is adding on to why people think and move the way that they do. And again, I'm not going to completely give it to music, but gosh, if music isn't one of their biggest tools, at least in the media aspect, if music ain't one of the biggest tools, like, dog, there are people
And then
literally,
especially in a certain demographic with poor people, because they look at it as a way out of poverty or out of their situation. So
or at
most
least
definitely music is
vicariously live through that person.
exactly.
So
So
okay, now
definitely in the
this leads
community
me back to
where I grew up, it's prevalent.
what we was talking about. You know what I mean, like as for solutions for us here, what options do we have as far as getting away from the propaganda and getting that freedom that we all know we want?
My first suggestion would be turn off
Disconnect.
turn off your electronic devices. Go play a goddamn board game with your family. Like, go play Monopoly. Go play
Facts.
Monopoly for more than one reason, but go play Monopoly. Actually
Nah,
finish a
for
game of
real. Go
Monopoly.
for a walk. Go out into nature. Go out and see the world for yourself, because like, bruh, Atlanta and everywhere else is totally different. If you go somewhere in Montana, you're gonna be looking around at them people like, wow, what's going on? Like, and you'll probably understand why they think the way that they think. So don't get outside your comfort zone sometimes and go different places and disconnect from media, all forms of media, and make up your own mind sometimes. Don't let the machine control what you think.
Yep. Go meet your neighbors and go to a PTA meeting.
Boy, you
Okay.
said
Get
something.
involved. Definitely get involved in your surroundings and
Yeah,
take
bro.
charge of your life, goddamn.
Control where you at first before you try to defeat the world. Clean your room first. That was Dr. Jordan Peterson, one of the guys who I read 12 rules of life. One of the first rules is clean your room. Make sure your area is straight before you try to point fingers and do stuff. Like, and also
That's preaching too.
read a
That's
goddamn
preaching
book.
too. That's
Read
a
a
good place to start.
goddamn book. Oh, yeah, man. Just if and don't do what you're doing now. If what you're doing now is not working, then stop trying to do that and think it's going to work.
I mean, that's good advice. Good advice. How do you get folks to implement that shit though? I mean, 'cause like honestly, I know we not the first people to come with, you know what I mean, this type of platform. We not the first people to try to coach black people on what they need to do, or just coach humans individual on how to be better humans. So like, what can we do different besides, you know what I mean, what can we do to gain more ears than the coaches that have come before us? Because everybody don't want a nigga preaching. You know what I mean? I've been preaching a lot to people, and trust me, I know they don't like motherfuckers preaching to them all the time.
Well, even with all those suggestions that we gave, I
think it's like
would say,
what TJ was saying. If we practice those things, if we work on our own homes, get our backyard straight, you feel me? Keep our living room in order, whatever the case may be. and show people a successful model of what that looks like, and be able to literally show that, that's where it comes in, because at the end of the day, we have to appeal to those same senses that are distracting them. And the best way to do that in a leadership capacity, when you're really trying to reach folks, is by example. So if we can show folks, you know what I'm saying, even get ourselves to a point, you know what I'm saying, where we are a livable example that people feel like they can attain, you get me, and see that that type of stuff can work, and see how those type of methods can help them, then they'll be more inclined to respond to it, you get me, and it won't seem as though it's just preaching. It's something that you doing as well, you get me. It's something that's working for you, working for your group of people, your friends, your family. It's something that's been successful for you, and you were able to achieve this that you had set forth, or whatever the case may be. When people see more of that, they'll be more responsive.
And, and I would say even, and I agree with that. And I would, cause yeah, you gotta live by example. And I know even the things that I do, I practice that in my daily life. But I will say that a lot of times when people give as many examples as we did, I don't expect everyone to do all that at one time. I don't expect everybody to just change overnight. What I would say is at least at least try to do 10, 15% every day and just grow in increments. You're not going to be able to complete all your goals on your first day, but write a list of your goals and how you can make yourself better and how you can make your community better. If you can at least tackle on a 10 list, on a 10 itemized list, then if you can do like two of those 10, you're in a better position.
Ah, okay, okay, okay,
Because it's not going to happen overnight.
okay. Now, I would think of like long term. Say once we get goddamn platforms established to where people can recognize that it's stable, it works. How do you dress it up to make it where things like politics are going to be hip and cool and make it to where people gonna realize like, yo, whether or not if you want to, you know what I mean, take a career in that direction, at least being aware of certain aspects is cool. Goddamn.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, politics ain't cool. And and if I like when I talk about cool versus, I guess the opposite of cool is lame. I tell folks all the time I'm lame, but I'm lame because like I'm not trying to be cool because I'm too grown to be cool. I'm just an adult. I can't be cool. I don't want to be cool. I don't want to keep up with the trends. I don't want to know the new slang. Like I'm trying to be I'm trying to be the people who raised me. They had to change in their life, and they just it's a maturation thing. If you want to be mature, then you'll do that. If you want to keep up with the trends and all this stuff, and you 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 technically want to be childish, bro. And I can't be childish. Like I'm too grown to be childish. I pay too many bills. Like I just pay way too many bills to try to act like a kid.
Well, I mean, I guess you mistook when I said cool. I was
To make
meaning
it something.
how do you make it, you know what I mean, how do you push propaganda, because basically that's what we're gonna have to do, fight fire with fire. And while their propaganda is, you know what I mean, do your own thing, do what thou will,
Will be the
your
whole little law.
yeah,
Goddamn
yeah,
Alex Collins.
why they hold forcing it that the focus on the self and the personal. How do we push what we all just agreed upon? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, once you get that foundation and you become an image, how do you push that image as a positive force now? Because now you're gonna have what you develop, like what we develop, or you know what I mean, let's just say either one of us, you know what I mean, get to that platform first. And when the person like, yo, you know what I mean, it works. This is what I had to do. My mindset changed, my actions changed, my thoughts changed, and this is where I end up, and you can do it too. what then becomes the like message to push versus fuck you, pay me, or I gotta get mine, I gotta get yours. You got to get yours. Now, like I'm just saying, like, yeah, of course, this would be something that would definitely probably come a little bit later, goddamn. But like being able to come with a message that equals in weight the negative messages that are being pushed out.
Look, I would say, look at your kids, look at your nieces and nephews. Like, do you want them to be that person that you see on Instagram all the time? That rapper or something that looks crazy or be going to prison all the time. Like, do you want to protect them and to keep them safe and to have them be in the best position that they can actually be a productive member of society and even go further, create jobs, invent things? Like, the only way that you can do that is you be an example. And the only way that you can be an example is you actually ground yourself in something that's real. And what's real is food on the table, is keeping a roof over your head, is protecting them from what goes on the dangers on the outside. Like giving them a safe community to grow up in, giving them a school where the teachers would teach them things that will actually help them become a successful individual. Because what's cool is the next generation. That's what's cool, is putting them in a position. Like my dad put me in a position where I'm able to think clearly. I can absorb different information. I have the ability to discern what's right and what's wrong. And no, I didn't grow up in the greatest of neighborhoods, and I didn't make the best decisions or anything like that, but I got back on the right track. And now, since I'm in this position, now I'm on the right track, then I know that I'm gonna be a little bit more, I guess you could say, attentive to my children. I'm more attentive to my nieces and nephews, and I make sure that they don't have to go through the same stuff that I went through, or at least even if they do, like, matter of fact, I take this. I didn't know about credit when I was a kid. But I opened up my niece and nephew a line of credit. And now when they get older, they're going to have a higher credit score because of the stuff that I did. And it may not seem cool, but it's going to put them in a better position. Generational wealth is the goal. Freedom is the goal. So what's cool is to make sure they cool.
Facts, man. I'm definitely with that, bro. We gotta come up with some kind of way to engage with the children. That's what I guess the way that I'm looking to express it. Not only just, being an example, but also being able to engage, to encourage, and to guide them, goddamn, in a way that's going to let their role models be what we know it should be and what we want for them as a positive light, as opposed to being, as opposed to idolizing these images and things that we know are just a way of self-destruction. So I definitely want to
pick your role models. Pick their role models for them.
We can do that, but that's about influence too, though. Not everybody's able to influence the youth on a constant basis, man. When you got Fortnite, when you got all kinds of other influences out there, just being able to pick their role models is a little difficult, because they do got minds of their own too, though, bro. We can't rule that out, and overlook that.
I can't. But I will say that the major influence is going to be on the parents, right, and on the things that you do. So, like,
that's why we also doing this, though, because for parents who you know what I mean, daycare issues and things like that, bro,
Yeah.
who are not necessarily able to be a major influence in the kids' lives. You know what I mean? This is for them single moms who gotta work an extra job or two, and now that little nigga out running around with all the knuckleheads. You feel me? She necessarily can't be that influence.
Yeah. And I feel for them too, because god dang it, I got homegirls going through the single motherhood thing.
Fact. So you know what I mean, when you provide a role model that's helping from a distance, you know what I mean. When it's a role model that's like on TV and actually getting the kids to think that like, okay, doing this is actually dope, my nigga. I can get fresh and still be on some good shit, you know what I mean, or just I can get a career in this and still be, you know what I mean, dressed
You
color
got
design and shit.
that's where you have to actually think about where you invest your money to, because a lot of people will sit there and buy their kids, let's say from 8 to preteen. They'll sit there and buy their kids a tablet.
They just gave me an idea for a promotion for like, I know definitely if a nigga get this job, bro, I want us to do this as a video, bro. Like we're gonna do it like a music video, but it's for like a nigga just stunting with a corporate job. Like instead of nigga going to go buy drugs and shit, nigga copying a new laptop and shit for his corporate shit. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I was seeing like a drug thing, goddamn, but a nigga just doing like legit business, and at the end of, you know, nigga showing stacks, and it's just his monthly bonus or some shit. You feel me?
Yeah, but we got to. But the thing I was saying was like for especially for single moms, don't have the TV or the internet raise your kids. The money that you go put into buying a tablet or a video game system, go put them in a little league sports. Like get them around people and find a good coach and have them help your child grow and develop. Let them understand what it means to be on the team. Because a lot of times we let entertainment raise our kids. Like we let television raise our kids, and we don't even know what's going on television. Like I've walked in on a television or on a YouTube video, and I was just like, I don't think this is supposed to be for kids.
Right, yeah. They, you know, after a while they end up clicking on other shit or click on something by mistake though.
Yeah. So like in order just to avoid that, then don't give them that. Don't give them access to what's going on in this crazy world, because we are on the internet and we see the videos that we see on the internet, and we're like, how are people still alive? So if we know that we see these obscene things, then imagine what our kids see, especially with their impressionable minds.
Facts, man. But I about to say, bro, I think we're gonna wrap it up for the night. God dang, we're gonna try to reconvene again next week. And I really liked that point, god dang, about my mind just went blank now.
It happens. Happens to the best of us. But I do appreciate being on the show.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have everything a little bit more organized. I got a couple of interviews coming up this week, man. So hopefully a nigga can get focused and get these little tests knocked out. I'm send out a schedule again for next week, and we can see if everybody can be able to get their schedules in order and try to get things back on a regular programming.
All right, cool beans, man. Well, appreciate that, Glass, for having me on the show. And I want to tell your audience, go check out the TJ Evans Show and everything that we have on Royal Family Studios on YouTube. Good conversations, always good conversation when I sit down and talk to you and Shay.
Most definitely. I appreciate it, bro. And we gonna most definitely work on some other projects and stuff and present it to the people, man.
Yeah, man. To all the people out there, y'all be safe. Y'all do y'all due diligence. Don't believe what anybody tells y'all. Y'all do your own research, man.
All right, man. Thank you for sitting down with Black Plate Productions, man. Everybody have a good night.